Okay, boxing fans, back again for another edition of the Zabtyson boxing show. Going to talk about the Andre Ward, Arthur Abraham fight, and also give some predictions for the upcoming fights tonight and tomorrow night on HBO and ESPN. So let's get into it. We've got Andre Ward fighting Arthur Abraham. That was last week. Just a dominant performance by Ward. Abraham kind of started a little faster than anybody really expected to, it seemed like. He's pretty much a slow starter always, but basic Abraham fight from the last couple of fights from him. He just, Ward just, started to land more punches, just a much better fighter overall. Probably not as much power, but every single other thing he had the advantage in: speed, skill, accuracy, defense, everything. And he just threw combo after combo, landed them, went to the body very early, and that was clearly gassing Abraham out. I think at about the 5th or 6th round, you could see at the end of the rounds, Abraham went over and just was resting on the ropes, very exhausted. I thought Ward might have a chance to get him out of there. I picked Ward by decision. I thought Abraham might be able to win about 3 rounds at the most. Ended up being 10-2 on my scorecard. I figured Ward would beat him pretty easily, and pretty much the fight I expected from Ward. And just a great performance. Beat a top fighter in Abraham. Abraham just put his guard up and just walked straight forward. Didn't move his head, no defense at all really, other than just keeping his hands up, and that's very predictable to break through. And Ward went to the body, and he threw some uppercuts to the head to get right through the guard, and his jab was getting through Abraham's guard very well also. So just a good performance by Ward. Definitely the best fighter in the Super 6 tournament so far. It would have been great if Andre Dirrell and him could have met in the finals. Unfortunately, Dirrell's out, it looks like. Don't know what's going to happen with his career. He might be messed up permanently. Of course, his last fight was over a year ago against Arthur Abraham, and he was clearly beating him, beating him easily, even knocked him down in the 4th round, I think it was, and just very, very unorthodox style. A great up-and-coming fighter for sure. And Abraham, of course, fouled him late in the fight and got disqualified. Left Dirrell twitching on the canvas, and he was just completely out of it, and he might have some brain injury, it seems like. Hope not, hope for the best, but I think I thought Dirrell was actually even better than Ward. I mean, not accomplishment-wise, because Ward clearly beat the better fighters, and up to that point he had to. But just in the amateurs even, I saw both of them in the Olympics in 2004, and I always myself just thought Dirrell was the better fighter. He just had that very unorthodox style, gave different angles, just switching from right to left all the time, and just very unpredictable of what he was going to do. So fast and everything, had a great potential. Hopefully he is not too messed up to come back. Hopefully it's no permanent damage from what happened in the Abraham fight. But anyway, just to talk about that a little bit, would have been great to see Ward against him in the fight, and I think in the tournament. And I think they were scheduled to meet, back in September actually. They were supposed to fight, and that would have been a very interesting fight, I think. But anyway, that's over with. So Ward moves on, and he's yet to have a loss in his career or in this tournament, and he waits for the winner of Carl Froch and Glenn Johnson, which Carl Froch also beat Arthur Abraham, outpointed him very easily in his last fight. And I think Froch will probably beat Johnson pretty easily, basically. So it should be Froch and Ward. And by the way, Andre Dirrell did beat Carl Froch. That was a very clear fight for Dirrell, but they gave it to Froch for some reason. They were in his hometown. But anyway, that's old news. So anyway, Ward will look to the winner of the Froch-Johnson fight. So looking forward to that. Now, this week we've got on Friday Night Fights, we've got Joel Julio fighting tonight, and he should get a pretty good performance, get a good knockout win. don't exactly know who he's fighting. Can't remember. Not a guy that should give him any trouble, really. So we'll see, kind of where he's at in his career. He does have 4 losses. Lost to Quintana, lost one over in Germany not too long ago, and he also lost to Alfredo Angulo, and that was last year sometime, I believe, an 11th round knockout, and also, of course, to James Kirkland, who beat him worse than anybody did. But he's, had some wins here and there lately, so he's coming back. So we'll see what he can do. He's kind of a one-dimensional fighter a little bit, unfortunately, so I don't think he can, really beat a top guy, but we'll see. Should be an interesting fight tonight, and I'm going to pick Julio by a 6th round knockout, so we'll see what happens. And on the undercard, we've got Saddam Ali fighting, just another up-and-coming fighter, and he's had some good performances, good knockout wins lately, so we'll see what he does. He should get another one tonight, just fighting a no-name fighter, basically, that he should dispatch of pretty quickly and easily. Just a good chance to show his skills and show where he's at in his career, so he'll continue to move up, hopefully. And so that's the fights for tonight on Friday Night Fights. And then tomorrow, the big fights, we've got Bernard Hopkins versus John Pascal in a rematch, and shouldn't even need to be a rematch because Hopkins clearly beat Pascal back in December of last year. Just an outright robbery, completely. One of the worst decisions I've seen in a long time, and that's really saying something. But Hopkins clearly won that fight. He did get knocked down early in the fight twice, but he bounced back and won at least 8 rounds of that fight, probably more, but that's the absolute worst that fight could have been scored, was 8 rounds to 4. And of course it was in Pascal's hometown, and unfortunately it's in his hometown again. I don't know why in the hell Hopkins would agree to that for a second time, knowing what happened the last time. I don't think he can knock Pascal out. He doesn't really knock anybody out. His last knockout was in 2004 against De La Hoya. Just doesn't have that kind of power, doesn't have that type of he doesn't have that type of fighting style anymore to where he even goes after the knockout. He's going to need it in order to get the win, because they're either going to just give him a loss or score a draw again, no matter what happens. I, of course, think Hopkins will easily beat Pascal again. I think it'll be even more clear than the last time, because I don't see Hopkins getting knocked down this time, but I think he'll beat him up and beat him very easily. But I do not expect the decision to go to him once again, so I don't know if that's going to be a win for Pascal or a draw again like the first fight, but I do not expect a fair decision. I do expect Hopkins to win, though, and if he does get the official win, he will go down in the history as the oldest champion in boxing history, passing George Foreman back when he was 45 and beat Michael Moorer, of course, for the heavyweight title in 1994. And hopefully Hopkins can get the win. Hopefully he does knock him out so they can't rob him, but either way, I think he will win the fight by decision. I'm going to say about 10 rounds to 2 for Hopkins, but we'll see if he gets the decision like he will deserve, I'm sure. So hopefully he does, or hopefully he just knocks him out to take away the judge's chance to rob him again. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. On the undercard, Chad Dawson versus Adrian Diaconu, or Diaconu. Don't know how to say that guy's last name, but he's undefeated, I believe, and never seen him fight. He's never been on TV here or anything. Chad Dawson should beat him. Like I say, don't know anything about Diaconu or whatever his name is, but I'm going to say Dawson with a middle round knockout, somewhere in the 7th, 8th, 9th round, somewhere in there, 6 through 8. I'll say a 7th round knockout for Dawson, so we'll see. Definitely, Chad Dawson is actually the only guy I would pick to beat Bernard Hopkins right now in the light heavyweight division. He's just too fast, got the southpaw style. Not that Hopkins has never seen that, of course, but just he throws too many punches. Unless he just lets Hopkins get inside his mind and intimidate him, I think Dawson would probably just beat Hopkins over 12 rounds pretty easily. And that's just how good he is. He throws a lot of punches, a lot of combinations, very accurate, powerful too. Don't see him knocking Hopkins out, of course, but we'll see what happens after the two fights this weekend. So anyway, that's what's going on, and we'll see what happens. I'll do a results show, and I'll preview the UFC fights coming up for next week on the next show. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. All right.